mouthful. Building materials, construction, and vehicle needs. Island Tires and Hardware, established in 1979 to serve you. Call 469-1980. Located on the Island Main Road, Stony Grove, Nevis. Island Tires and Hardware, open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. On Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. It's Island Tires and Hardware for all of your needs.
Country got the historians hard at work. Well, I am one who want to believe that the whole situation is a big, big joke. Now I back in farm and my sister back in labor, but that can't stop me from loving one another. Now I vote Powell and she vote Winnie Joe. But to box me, sister will have to box me for sure. So when I might set out to destroy labor, which one of them will touch me, sister? Is Joe. When labor decide to shoot down Pam, you think me sister go shoot I man, no it's so. It is time that we understand that there's a time for labor and a time for Pam. The country is sinking, it needs rebuilding. We have to start uniting and stop fighting. Oh, it's joke we making. It seems to me we are carelessly destroying all the nation. At the rate we are going, we are rapidly approaching the point of inevitable self-destruction. I would like to rest me hand on that crazy louse who's stupid enough to burn down the courthouse. Such a tragical loss is affecting everybody. Yes, gone is the evidence of part of our history. Yet some people say it is their desire to see the whole of my country on fire. It's for when trouble starts, it ain't there, it doesn't. If they take that fire, got a friend, no, it's our selfishness, our lust, and our greed.
Yes, if you tell me, I will tell them that tell me is on.
Did somebody say tell me? Then tell me about it. Tell me with host Carlisle Powell.
There are talk shows, and then there is Tell Me, your very credible source for information. Join us every Thursday night. You certainly won't be disappointed.
Alongside Dr. Kelvin Daly.
Panic and fear, uncertainty that is compounded by a leadership that appears unprepared, uncertain, and indecisive in dealing with the coronavirus pandemic.
And Tulu Weeks.
until God gets a hold of our Premier's life and transform him. He will go from bad to worse.
We are tired of playing politics. We need to see policies that will change the life of people, especially those of us in the diaspora.
Tell me. Carlisle, I want all women in Nevis rally for change.
Every Thursday at 8 p.m., you can be a part of this conversation by calling 669-7312. That's 869-669-7312. Also available on WhatsApp or from the diaspora 917-460-2187.
Every Thursday night from 8 to 10 p.m. with host Carlisle Powell on 2020 Vision Radio and Facebook.
Do you know what you're drinking? If you are drinking plastic bottled water, chances are you're consuming plastic contaminants, BPA, and other hormone-disrupting chemicals you cannot see with your naked eye. Those empty plastic bottles take up to 450 years to decompose. In the meantime, plastic bottles are polluting the environment. They are dangerous to the planet and our health. The safer solution is to acquire your own Kangen alkaline water filtration system, and you'll never have to buy toxic bottled water again. Help save the planet and drink clean water for less than the price you'll pay for acid plastic bottled water over the next few years. The Kangen technology is the world's most popular, most acquired water immunizer. For more information, you can call or WhatsApp us on 917-207-1307. That's 917-207-1307. Change your water, change your life.
Pico, the way to go for residential, commercial, and industrial wiring, data, security, UPS, and generator installation. When you need electrical work done now, done right, done at an affordable price, contact Finney's Electrical Company. Call or WhatsApp 665-1916 or email pico_1166@yahoo.com. Pico, the way to go.
This 2020 Vision Radio 102.1 FM program is being simulcast weekly on the Caribbean Broadcast Network, heard on CBN Superstation 90.9 FM, Go Loud Digicel app, covering the entire U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and CBN TV on Flow Channel 101 and on CCT TV Channel 291. We do appreciate our U.S. and British Virgin Island listeners and viewers joining us for these informative and entertaining programs on 2020 Vision Radio and 102.1 FM. The views and opinions expressed on this program are strictly those of the participants and do not represent those of 2020visionradio.com or its advertisers.
One thing, we want we land. We want we say. Everybody to that we go and hold on today. what you need. Tell me if I'm good enough for you, good enough for you, baby. Yeah. Tell me.
Very special good evening to you tonight, and welcome to another edition of Tell Me. I'm in the studio as usual with two good friends of mine, and we'll be here for the next 2 hours at least as we discuss matters of importance to the people of Nevis and people of Nevis Nevision heritage. Wherever you might be this evening, we're saying good evening to you, and good evening, Tulu. How are you doing?
As usual, I'm doing fairly okay. I had some challenges during the course of the week, but at the moment I'm feeling better. I give God thanks for the privilege that we have of being here another Thursday evening to share information with our people, hoping to get them to understand the dangers that we now face and to inspire them to make wise decisions. Good evening to my sisters, Janet, Sylvia, Valerie. Also to Kyron, my nephew. And then to Bayo. Bayo called from the Cardin home today, and he let me know that he listened to us on a regular basis and want to encourage us to continue the fight. And he wished that he was out here to fight with us. So thank you, Bayo, for listening and for your encouragement. Also to Elvan Ellie, and Mr. and Mrs. Romelo Jeffers, and then to Deborah Morris and Cheryl Tyrrell. Good evening. Call up a friend, call up a neighbor, tell me, it's spot on.
Thank you very much. And Dr. Daly, how are you?
How am I? Like fine wine.
I could tell you're peaking nicely on the board tonight.
It's always good to be with the folks on a Thursday evening. Let me say good evening to my boys over there in St. James. Let me start with them for a change. We normally start with my family, but I'm going to start with my friends first. Let me say good evening to Turkey and Bose and Gary over there in St. James, Max up there in Westbury, and then I go down the Virgin Islands to my brother Hugh. And up in New York, my brother Denny and his wife Tulla. And in the house with them this evening is my good buddy Gus. Everybody loves Gus. So good evening, Gus. And my sisters, Evan and Judith, up there in Connecticut, and my brother Carl down in Atlanta, my other brother Carl in Canada, and right here on Nevis, my other brother, Othniel Daly, Reverend Othniel Daly. And so he would have invited me to the opening of the New Methodist. So I'm supposed to be dressed up and go there and represent the family. So I'm looking forward to that. And all those who have tuned in, whether you're on FM dial, Twitch, or YouTube, of course, on the Facebook feed, good evening to you. Let me say one other thing. Good evening to my good friend. Welcome back home from her cruise. I adore. She went on this cruise and she told me she found this nice young man.
Yeah.
No, she didn't tell you that.
She told Adele?
No.
Oh, Adele just finding out tonight.
He made up that. That was made up.
Oh, jeez. But since I'm on the line, let me say good. Oh, you got me now. Before I forget, we do have gentlemen in New to Your Sale this Saturday, just outside the old customs building. So if you need some nice kitchenware, toiletries, clothing for you and your kids, we got some really, really nice stuff, brand new, some of them brand new. And so we wish you to come out on Saturday. We start in around 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. So make sure you come early and get your good stuff.
Thank you very much. And it's my turn now to say good evening as usual to all of my mother Maria's children. And I'll start with Mary, of course. And Mary, hope that you and your family are doing very well. Glenda is the next girl in line. So good evening to you, Glenda, and your family as well. And then to Morvet, who is the last. Good evening to you, Morv. Hope that you're doing well. Everett is down there in Tartola with his family, and I wish them all the best. And as well, coming back home for my brother Trevor. And hope that you're doing well, Trevor. And I wish you and your family all the best as well. And then I'll just jump back over to the USA and say hello and good evening to Alan and Dahlia. Hope that you and the family are doing extremely well tonight. Romelo, Hope that you're good. As well, I want to say hello and good evening to the William brothers from my next door neighbors from Just Day in Hickmans. They tune in on a regular basis, so I just want to say good night to you. Hope that you're doing well. And then say hello and good evening to Dr. Joy and Janice. Hope that you tuned in early and that you're set and that you're ready, because we intend to have a lot of fun this evening on Tell Me. So hope that everybody, wherever you are, especially those in the United States of America, hope that you have done your Thanksgiving shopping and that you are getting ready now for this big cook-off come next week, Thursday. I keep promising that I'm going to go to America for Thanksgiving. I've only seen one in my entire life.
It's worth it.
It's well worth it.
It's worth it. If you go to Triller's house, my brother Denny's house, I mean, if they used to cook like they cook now, I mean, if they cook now like they used to cook when my mother was alive, it is a fantastic spread.
One of these days, I think I'm going to actually beg for an invitation, so
beg,
that I beg them for an invitation.
You don't have to beg.
So that I could turn up. Yeah, but really and truly, it's a good experience. They tell me it's a good family experience. Yes. Mary hosted me one time. I don't know if I was bad, because I don't recall getting a second invitation. So I might have been bad that one time. I keep saying to Glenda that one of these days I'll come, and she keep telling me come, and I don't go. But next year I'm going to be somewhere in America for Thanksgiving. I want to enjoy the Thanksgiving. Okay, so we're done with that part of it, and this week, before we get into the birthday greetings, let me just reach out and say condolences to the family of Pastor Ken Williams, who passed. And last week I had it on my paper. I completely missed it. And also to the family of Pastor Brown, husband of Pastor Cicely Brown, who passed as well. So the Lord seems to be calling home his shepherds. So we say safe passage to them.
To us.
And
tell him not to look to. Tell him not look to your right.
No, I don't. No, he gonna leave Pastor Tulu with us.
When my time comes, I'll be going, my brother. When the time comes, whenever the time appears, I'll be going.
That's what you're about.
No prayer will be able to stop that.
Okay, and now we get to the birthday wishes. Last week we forgot Sylvia Hendrickson over there in Webb's Grown, Gingerland. She celebrated on Wednesday along with Dorothy Pinney. Today, my good friend Carol Pemberton, Benjamin, all kind of different titles, celebrating a birthday alongside Drexel Barton and Drexel. Rhonda, she know everybody birthday, so she send wishes to you as well. Ricky Libod up there in Hamilton, we're sending birthday greetings to you today. And there's a certain Mrs. Yulin Weeks. You know that lady?
Bailey.
Okay. I am sending her greetings just in case a certain person forget. So Yulin, hope you had a great day today. And if somebody didn't remember, I hope that we tell them no. So we're open now. Best Buy.
I think Mikey downstairs.
Oh, Mikey open so you could walk home with bread.
No, Mrs. Weeks is out somewhere gallivanting, having a ball of a time for her birthday.
We'll accept that.
She asked me to be a part of it. I tell her absolutely not. Tell me comes first. And so
you could please take her out on the weekend.
Where?
Take her out someplace on the weekend. And tell her just pretend that is a birthday. Because the Queen does postpone hers all the time. Man. Maybe the King do it now too.
Anniversary coming up soon. So
okay.
Perhaps our anniversary. Yeah.
I got you. Well, Yulin, we didn't forget.
No.
Okay. Violet, a good lady in Gingerland they call Bush. She will be celebrating on Friday, as well as my cousin Evroy Libod, who will be celebrating on Friday as well. On Saturday we have Lyra Richards, Devon Libod, Officer James Stevens will be celebrating as well. Adrian Hill, you're having all kind of greetings from your aunt, from your mom, and the rest of the family. Wishing you all the best for your birthday coming up on Saturday. On Sunday, The mayor of Cotton Ground will be celebrating. Sylvester Pemberton. He's having a birthday. Tyreek Powell. D. Michelle Libert Rollins, my neighbor from Zion, will be celebrating as well. Jonel Pastona, that's a younger one. That's his son. Will be celebrating on Sunday. On Monday, Cedric Libert, Ambassador Cedric Libert, will be celebrating. Donnell Jones will be celebrating a birthday as well. Tuesday is Sonia Neal. On Wednesday, Chesley Manners of 2020, he will be celebrating. Paulette Pemberton will have a birthday on Wednesday as well. And those are the persons who we have celebrating birthdays. We have an early call coming in. I'm going to go to the line just in case it's a birthday greeting. And so good evening, caller. You have a birthday greeting?
Yes, sir. Good evening, gentlemen.
Go right ahead. You're live.
I just want to wish Carol Benjamin Pemberton happy birthday today. And I pray to God that she is having a good time and she lives to see many, many more.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so those are the persons who we have on the birthday list. I don't know if any others came up on the Facebook page.
Chesley Manners is celebrating.
Chesley is celebrating on Wednesday. Next week, Wednesday.
I want to give you a joke about Chesley. We had sports one time when we were in high school. And, he was pretty good fast runner. 200 meter and stuff like that. And he's running on it.
No, not that older Chesley. The 2020 Chesley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shutting down the road, He had on these short pants. And his members were swinging.
Oh, Lord of mercy. And I need some water. I need to before I choke. Good evening, caller. Hope you have a birthday greeting.
Good evening, Mr. Powell.
Yes.
Good evening, Dr. Daly. Good evening, my brother Tulu. I would like to know.
Tulu, if this is for the main part of the show, you got to call back. You're a little too early for that. We only took the call because we're doing birthday greetings.
Okay.
So if it's a birthday greeting, you go straight on.
No.
Okay, well, you got to call back later. Let us set the tone of the show first before we start taking calls. Thank you very much. Okay. Chesley is my cousin.
He denies it, of course.
Chesley, you're right.
I was there.
No, Chesley, you are absolutely right. Deny. Oh, okay. Let's do the song, the birthday song.
Let me catch myself.
Lord, you make me cough.
I know. Why did I say that? Because I can't catch myself.
Catch yourself.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. And as usual from us in the studio, may you live to be 101 and us 101 minus a day, so we don't have to see you go. May God continue to bless you with good health, strength, and of course wealth.
Okay, and while we're doing the ads, let me put this up on the screen. The St. John's constituency branch 1 part, there has been a date change. That was supposed to take place tomorrow, Saturday, this week, Saturday. That's not going to happen again because Judge is being buried on Saturday. And there are members who want to attend that. And so it will be next week, Saturday, instead of this week, Saturday. It's 1 pot, 1 price, is still $20. We're selling tickets. You have the cook-up with and without pork. You have goat water. You have seafood pasta. You have conch chowder and a lot more. So come on out and celebrate with St. John's next week, Saturday. And that is going to be a 1-pot event right there opposite Panko's in Coal Hill in St. John's. And we are going to be starting. We should be there by after 10. We'll be ready to serve you starting at 11. So remember that. Get your tickets. Is only $20 a piece for that 1-pot business. And then let me give you this one from Nevis Academy. Let's do all the commercials one time.
be real devastating for an individual and their family.
We care about people. We are taught to be kind and to help others.
Our Impact Our Community program seeks to collect funds from the community that will be used to help others. Each year we engage in a fundraising activity so that we can help others.
Give generously. The family members that you can help can be members of your own family. Give $5 or more to help someone in need.
We are little, but we want to help and we can.
Ask your family members to contribute.
All pool our monies together. We can help a number of people in our community.
It is very tough for a family to go through this horrible diagnosis. Each year, we have an increasing number of persons getting a cancer diagnosis.
A cancer diagnosis affects everyone. Not only is it expensive, it takes a toll on the body. Thanks to everyone for giving generously.
Shall not be in vain.
And they're just asking for each person to donate a minimum of $5. They're looking to raise $20,000 in about 3 weeks. And the Nevis Academy, they have not just raised funds, but they have made funds available to persons diagnosed with cancer. And so when you see people with the cards, reach into your pocket and give them a nice little donation so that Nevis Academy can continue to help. The good thing about the school is teaching the students that there is more to life than just going to school, attending the school, getting your lessons. They're teaching them to be involved in the community and caring for people and so on. So that is something which is beautiful, which I absolutely love. Let's get into the program, gentlemen. Yesterday, we are aware that the government shut down all the schools in Nevis. And according to the Premier, it was a request from the teachers to come to meet with them to hear about destiny. According to the teachers, no such request was made. They were militarily summoned to NIPAC to come down there to listen to the same thing that they had heard. Those who wanted to go to the town hall, those who stayed at home and looked at it via whatever social media they chose. But I understand that the NIPAC wasn't full, that there was space, and that after 3, started late. The invitation said 1:30, then it was said to be 2, and then the government turned off current to its own event, so there was no power, and there is no working generator down at NIPAC. If you're having a function, they're asking you to rent your own generator just in case power goes. So the power went, and eventually it started very late, and by the time 3:30 came, some teachers were already leaving. I don't know what report you got from that, Dr. Daly and Tulu.
The report I got, I don't think the Premier or his cabinet were quite pleased, because the hall, which holds about 400, was noticeably scant. I think in the final push, a number of persons decided not to go. Once it was learned that it was no longer mandatory, persons chose to stay on campus as required until 3:30 and then departed and went home. I would have spoken to a number of teachers who, prior to the clarification that it was not mandatory, they were, very upset that they had to leave their classes, especially in an exam week, to go to an event that they had no interest in. And so I was quite amazed, actually, when I heard the Premier pronounce that it was the teachers who requested it. And that did not sit well with a number of teachers who I spoke with before and after the event. Because when I relayed to them what the Premier said, they were like, flabbergasted that such a blatant lie would be told on them. There was no consensus, there was no consultation. They were simply sent a letter through the principal's office to attend this meeting, and the classes would dismiss at a certain time. And so once they realized that they did have the right, and persons in the community were encouraging them not to attend, and they themselves had already determined that they did not want to go to participate in a political event, but they decided to stay on campus until that time. And so, I applaud them. I applaud all those who decided to exercise their right not to participate and stay back on campus and do their work.
This is the first time in the history of our country we have 42 years of independence, and this is the first time where we have a government who would have taken children, first of all, then the teachers, educators out of school, to get them to buy into a program that the Premier wants. And let me put it that it is the Premier who wants this. The Premier wants this more than Joe. The Premier wants it, I believe, more than Janssen and Vaughan them. Okay? And I think that all teachers and all civic-minded persons should protest against this and let them know definitely we send our children to school. We expect our children to be educated. And there is no way that our teachers and our children should be pulled in to any political program that is organized by a political party just to try to uplift that political party. My question is, if the NRP is to ask for an audience with the 6 farmers, will they be allowed to leave school to be a part of that? If NRP in turn asks to have an audience with the teachers, would the teachers be given the freedom to go and attend this? If it happens on the government side, it should also happen on the opposition side. That is just my point.
And it's a reasonable point to make. But remember that Mark Brantley is among people who argued.
I'm not hearing you clearly.
Remember that Mark Brantley is among people who argued in a court case that the opposition deserves the right to use the government media. Argued strenuously and won the right for the opposition to be heard on government media. He's in government now, and he is the chief person who has denied the opposition the right to use the same media that he went to court and won the right for. And I remember I was asked by my party, the NRP, to represent NRP in a meeting with Mr. Williams Carl Williams, who was permanent secretary in the Premier's ministry, in a discussion so that we could represent the interests of the NRP and state dates and times and events that we wanted covered by NNC. It was a very big waste of my time, because we had a beautiful meeting, presented the case as it was, the judgment that was given, and the fact that the opposition deserves the right, which was acknowledged. But that meeting was just a meeting to say they met, because the instructions were handed down from the government. NRP must not appear on NNC. And from then until now, it has not happened. So you can ask.
And we cannot fight them in court because
no.
To fight them.
Yeah, but that is where the case must go back. Well, because you have case law.
We need to take them back to court to get permission.
Absolutely. Anyway, gentlemen, that is as it is. You notice that the Premier continues to make the rounds as the public relations officer for Destiny. This week he was again on the topics. And the guys on the topics are brave. I don't have on a hat, so I can't take off my hat to you, gentlemen. But you're very, very brave to be entertaining somebody who has steadfastly refused
to answer questions.
To put, not just to answer questions, but to put any Culturama advertising dollars behind a media source and a media house that has represented the interest of Nevis well. I see that they said that they are now going to be having Mr. Janssen on the topics. I wonder if they are going to be getting some Destiny dollars in terms of ads so that it can keep them happy. Because the government has made it absolutely clear that the topics and 2020 should not get a single dollar in terms of advertising for Culturama. and that is clear, that is on the record. So I don't even bother with them too much anymore.
I listen to some of the program and listen to the premier lie, twist, distort. As far as I'm concerned, he disrespected the host of the program. At one point, they saying, if I was hosting this program, I'd have shut him off. Because he didn't went there to give people factual information, especially when they questioned him in regards to dialysis, and he stripped down to Trinidad. And the vague, foolish, dumb, the answer just angered me to the point to say, if I was there, I'd shut off his mic and tell him, listen, no, we don't want you here. You're dishonest.
But you're a kind man, you're a gentleman. You sure you would do that?
Yeah. Shut him off.
No, I see it a little different in this regard. It is a duty of the host to control their program. If you're asking a question that is not being answered,
ask again.
Ask again.
Okay.
It is not for you to back away. It's for you to continue to pursue. And so if he's evading, and I listened to the part where he's talking about dialysis and the fact that he didn't have the requisite human resource to deal with dialysis. You've had, since 2013 as a government, you've met equipment. Why, if you believe you didn't have the resources, human resource and otherwise, to deal with dialysis, why did you take the money from Taiwan? Why did you tell people on record that you are intending to bring four new machines in addition to the 2 that were brought in by NRP? Why did you say that you're going to get a bilateral relationship with Guyana to do training? The offer the Taiwanese made to train senior staff at the hospital in dialysis treatment. At the same time, they got the money from Taiwan. Where was that offer? I mean, there's a multiplicity of questions to follow up on that I believe that, went a begging. And I understand, calls to come in and interrupt the flow of things, but you're still the host. And you still have obligation to make sure you extract from a very evasive guest, the answers you're seeking. And I thought they could have done a deeper dive into his answers, rather simply that let him rant and talk, because that's what he's going to do. He's going to run circles around, and you run out of time, and you get nothing answered.
Mm-hmm.
But you have him right there pinned. Stop him, and listen. I didn't ask you that. I'm asking you directly. Why is it we don't have dialysis? Why is it that you took the people's money? $168,000 US. Why did you take it? If you believe that there was no future in dialysis at the Alexandria Hospital, why didn't you refuse the donation? What did you do with it? Why is it Nivisions are still struggling? What is your life worth? If you're saying it's too expensive, then what is the value of a life? St. Bart's is half the size of Nevis, yet they have dialysis. St. Martin, Anguilla, Montserrat have to send the people to Antigua. Antigua has it. St. Kitts has it. How come we are the only ones in the entire OCS without a unit? That is a question.
Hi, good evening, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Powell. Good evening, Dr. Daly. Good evening, Tulu. I would like to know, why is it the concerned citizen movement always blaming the opposition? For every mistake they make, they blame the opposition. It is time for these people start to get up with the projects that they have on Nevis, because they ain't doing nothing to assist our little country. Mr. Powell, it's time for the concerned citizen movement get up and continue and start up these projects that we have for the Alexandria Hospital, the fisheries complex. Get them finished, because you can't go and get new projects to start and don't finish what you have. Finish what you have before you, and then you could start over. Secondly, I would like the opposition party to start to tell the people on Nevis what they're going to do if they get in power tomorrow morning, because there is an election around the corner. We need to know what is going on, what is their intention. You just can't go and campaign, because you see them now, so no. the same only want to bulldoze the way in. Finally, before I go, I will call upon the Christian Council, the Evangelist Association, and the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, and the St. Kitts Nevis Bar Association to get these people together. Soon and very soon, get them together, get everybody together in the stakeholders. And when you finish with them, you tell the Premier and the government of Nevis is either a referendum to let the people decide where we are going, or an election. Either a referendum or an election. But the opposition party should go out there and start to campaign what they're going to do. Good night.
Thank you very much, caller, and I hear you loud and clear. I have a different perspective on this, though. The people of Nevis for far too long have had a double standard when it comes to politics in Nevis. They like to say to the people of Nevis, opposition, NRP, tell us what you're going to do when you get in office. And NRP got into office in 2006 and not just told, but showed what it could do. Is the most roads that have been fixed in Nevis for any period, any one-term period. Easily. Not only that, the NRP, Cherry Gardens, just look at Cherry Gardens and the other housing projects around Nevis. But go back before that to 1991, where NRP brought Four Seasons Hotel. So the NRP not just say what it is going to do, but the NRP normally do what it says that it will do. And when you do all of that, people are saying, okay, you told us, but we didn't believe. We didn't believe that Four Seasons would come. And right after Four Seasons come, the people of Nevis, some of them who had never worked in their whole life, went and voted against their own interest and voted against NRP. People who didn't think that they would get a house in Nevis got houses under NRP and voted against NRP. The people of Nevis who said we should tell them, Dr. Kelvin Daly, who is to my left, told the people of Nevis, listen, we want to bring a broiler facility. You're talking about 2017, 8 years ago. We want to bring a broiler facility, and this is how we'll do it. We'll have a turnkey operation. We're getting everything for about $1 million. The only thing that we need are birds. And here is the plan how we are going to produce the birds. We are going to allow people to do the little private farming. So you can have your little 100 birds. And we're going to take them off you and process them. I mean, people can't tell me that they didn't hear of these plans. People can't tell me they didn't hear of the South Coast Road from NRP. So you want to hear more? Some of the people who are telling us that NRP, we want to hear this from you, have never asked CCM to produce anything or to say anything that they are going to do. So all I want people to do is to be even-handed. Don't just make demands of the opposition. You have a government in power. What the hell are they doing? Are we making demands on them? They have access to government resources. They have had more than $1 billion that they can't find, that they just throw away, wash up, waste. I am saying to the people of Nevis, yes, NRP will campaign. Yes, NRP will advance ideas and projects and so on. But you must judge the government along the same lines. You must say, hey, you have been in office for most of the time since Nevis has become independent. You ain't doing shit. It's time that we move on from you and stop judging the people who are out of office. If you're in and you're not doing, it's time to vote for the people who are out and bring them in and let them show you what they can do. So I listen to people. I like to hear when they say start campaigning and tell me what you will do. I want you to say, you're in office. You said that you are going to finish the hospital. $20 million later, $25 million, you can't finish the hospital. You say you're going to bring a broiler facility and you bought equipment to put the cart before the horse. So for 3 years we've been paying rent for the equipment. And nothing has happened. I want the people of Nevis to understand that you got to judge two ways. And when the things like these come up, I can talk longer than they here. Okay. Good evening, caller. How are you?
I'm good, Mr. Paul. How are you, sir?
I am getting better and better.
Yes. And Tolo, my friend, good evening. Dr. Daly, how are you, my brother?
I am well, thank you.
Great, great. Carl, I know we go back as far as back in the fourth season, but I would like to mention Cherry Garden.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to mention Cherry Garden. When they want to talk about what NRP going to do, our NRP do, let's talk about Cherry Garden. One of the biggest housing projects ever in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, caller.
Well, let me say this. We would have campaigned hard in 2022, both for the local and for the federal. Those plans and priorities that were put forward by the caretakers are still there. The promises made and the development ideas put forward by all the candidates are still there to be implemented. And so if persons are disillusioned for some reason that they're not hearing about any concrete plans from NRP, there'll be a time for all that to be rehashed. But if you listen carefully to what the candidates say when they get a chance, they'll surely tell you where the priorities are. You've heard it more than once. And so I agree with Carlisle that we have proven, not just talked, we have proven that we can do much more if we're in power than we can simply talk about out of power. The track record is there in agriculture, in tourism, in financial services, in healthcare, in education, every single aspect. When you look now at what's happening with this concerned citizens movement, and you go down the line by ministry or by program, which program or which ministry is succeeding under this government? Which program has shown real growth under this government? We have lost ground in financial services. We have not expanded tourism. Agriculture is in the dumps. I mean, what else? You just
housing.
I mean,
distress.
But you see, I subscribe to the same point. You must be balanced with your views on these things. Let's go.
Hi, good evening, caller.
Yeah, good evening. Nevis Abraham Chowre. Carlisle and Cholo.
How are you?
I'm good. Listen, Nevis people know want NRP prove nothing more. It's only one party could move Nevis. You had it under Vance stay in neutral for 15 years. Now he come and next 15 years again. Nevis people need to, like you say, hold the man at ransom. What you do for the last 15 years? Why you got the dialysis and the hospital? How come you could find time out for the teachers them to finish, to left school and to come talk about destiny? How come you ain't got time out to tell them, let's talk about the hospital or the dialysis? Eh? Them ain't priority for Nevis. Destiny is not Nevis priority. Destiny is hostage for Nevis. And people need to understand that. Only NRP gonna do. And when the time comes, NRP gonna roll out everything to the Nevis people. So this is the agenda right now. We have to talk about what is at hand right now. Right? So continue, educate, and let the world know what's going on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Listen, I want my people to read a lot. Don't come and repeat what you hear the opposition say. When they come and they say that, listen, we want to hear what all you have in all your manifesto, you tell them how the mother made them. You tell them where to go. And you concentrate on getting rid of this wicked government that we have here. So. Before we move on to the next subject, let me just say that the Christmas banquet, the 17th year anniversary put on there by the association in South Florida, will be happening on the 6th of December. The guest speaker will be Mrs. Dawn Liebert, and That's somebody I'm proud to say I taught in grade 5 at Ivor Walters. She's a senior risk specialist at Microsoft, and the honoree this year, Mr. Steve Manners of 2020. He will be up there getting this nice honor. Good music, good food is on the 6th of December. And when you go, tell Dr. Theodore Daniel hello from us here and tell me. So that we are going to repeat this next week. And I suspect that we will get somebody to call in to advertise the program in their own voice. Stocky does a very good job for days in Washington. So we expect that we'll get somebody to call in to talk about this. Gentlemen, let me play this one for you because sometimes I feel that the premier is a little bit confused. So let me play this.
I have seen the Charleston Secondary School and the Nevis Sixth Form advertise that I think it's the 25th of November they're going to have their graduation. The Gingerland Secondary School is going to have the graduation a day later. Together, those institutions are going to put well over 200 young people into the workplace. Some may go on to sixth form, those who are leaving fifth form, but certainly the sixth formers will be looking for work. What am I to tell them as the Premier of Nevis?
What you're supposed to tell them, Mr. Premier of Nevis, is that you are so way behind. Dr. Daly taught, I taught. Dr. Daly, these kids left school since June last year.
They've been leaving school.
This year, June this year. And he's just asking what is he going to tell them about jobs? He should have been planning this. Not just finding out now, okay, graduation coming up. These children who will be graduating, they left school since June.
Mr. Powell, we've been having graduation every year since 2013 when the Premier and the government took over. It's nothing new. The numbers might be increasing slightly because more persons are going to sixth form and are choosing not to go abroad so early. But we've been having thousands of students since 2013 graduating. And if you're now waiting to try to sell a point that we do need Destiny to suck up 200 students, you're really behind the eight ball. It tells me that you're an abject failure, that you're not recognizing that you need employment. So absent Destiny, you have no plan? Absent Destiny, the children are hopeless? I mean, what kind of message are you sending? That, you have put all your eggs in this Destiny basket, and we all know that the jobs that are being offered, nobody has a description of them. Mm-hmm. Nobody has any idea what they are. But we know it's a housing community. We know that much as a housing settlement. And what do you have in housing settlement? Gardeners and cooks, bottle washers and toilet cleaners. So are you suggesting our sixth formers are only good for that level of work? I mean, you as a government, you are charged with responsibility. You asked us to invest our confidence in you as a leader, to elect you to government, to do exactly this, to find opportunities for our young people, to create the environment for persons to be elevated and empowered. And you're now coming at the 12th hour and say, my only bet right now is Destiny. Never mind that they will overrun you and overtake you. Never mind all of that. Never mind that in a short time, in your generation, you'll be a minority in your own country, answerable to them. Never mind all that, but you will get employment. I mean, what kind of slave mentality is that? You know the reasons why we love to eat pig foot and pig head and all those kind of things? It's not because they're the best part of the pig. Because that's the part that the masters didn't want us. They didn't want to eat for themselves, so they gave us to eat. So whatever they didn't want, they gave us to eat. What is the Premier saying? That we are back to pig head and pig foot as the only choice? That we must suck up if we want to get a little 2 pence into our pockets? I mean, this is a height of disrespect. It is condescending. It is very upsetting that he is now trying to lay this on those of us who are objecting to Destiny. And he's going to say, well, NRP and those others in civil society do not want all you to get employed because they're blocking the only avenue for you. I mean, this is the height of ignorance. And it's very upsetting that a leader of a country going to try to blackmail us into submission and say, listen, fellas, approve destiny because 200 students want to get employment. He can't tell none of us what the jobs are. He can't describe any job that's going to be available in destiny. But we must adhere to his command and allow destiny because we have students graduating. What should he tell them? He should tell them he has betrayed this country. He should tell them he has been treasonous to this country. That is what he should tell them. That I failed you, and I failed your parents, and I failed this country. That is what he should tell them if you want to be honest. That's all he has to say. And walk away from this government because he has been an abject failure.
Let's take some ads and then we'll come back.
PICO, the way to go for residential, commercial, and industrial wiring, data, security, UPS, and generator installation. When you need electrical work done now, done right, done at an affordable price, contact Finney's Electrical Company. Call or WhatsApp 665-1916 or email pico_1166@yahoo.com. PICO, the way to go.
Do you know what you're drinking? If you are drinking plastic bottled water, chances are you're consuming plastic contaminants, BPA, and other hormone-disrupting chemicals you cannot see with your naked eye. Those empty plastic bottles take up to 450 years to decompose. In the meantime, plastic bottles are polluting the environment. They are dangerous to the planet and our health. The safer solution is to acquire your own Kangen alkaline water filtration system, and you'll never have to buy toxic bottled water again. Help save the planet and drink clean water for less than the price you'll pay for acid plastic bottled water over the next few years. The Kangen technology is the world's most popular, most acquired water immunizer. For more information, you can call or WhatsApp us on 917-207-1307. That's 917-207-1307. Change your water, change your life.
Thank you very much and welcome back to Tell Me. We're going until 10 o'clock this evening, at least until 10 o'clock this evening. I follow the Premier closely. My people follow him as well. So when he speaks, we want to make sure that we are there to hear what he says. And I want to give you an update on the airport. We're going to come to SSZ, but let's start with an update on the airport.
The airport project has, I don't want to say it has started, but there is activity. Let me put it that way. Today we had some boreholes being done, some testing that was being done on the runway and on various areas in the tarmac. That is all in preparation for the start of actual construction. We're very excited about that, and we're hoping that we can kick off that very soon. We continue to try to settle up with landowners that, it's property, takes a while, but we are confident that we'll get to where we need to get to. And I continue to credit the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who I tasked with leading that project. And we have now brought in the Honorable Michael Perkins, former Speaker, former Member of Parliament as well, who is the project manager. So Michael Perkins, of course, is an engineer. So we're strengthening the team and seeking to move forward on that particular project. So I am very happy that today I saw significant activity there.
Couple of things I want to say on this as somebody who managed that airport for 20 years. One, Mikey Perkins was also a project manager when we did some construction work at the airport. Mikey Perkins, you remember, was the project manager when a company that could not post a performance bond was given the job to do the airport.
Grupo Deca.
Could not post a performance bond. What we found out in a report later is that Grupo Deca paid for a trip for the same gentleman to visit Venezuela. It's in the report. And I remember that distinctly. I also remember from that report that the people who did the report said that it was not necessary for the government to hire Mikey Perkins back then. You're talking about 2000, 2001. And pay him 90-something thousand dollars a year for doing a job where you already had people who were doing the exact same job. But it was at that time that Mikey Perkins was being groomed to be a candidate for CCM. They always do it. Look for people, put them in position, like how they're doing with Latoya and how they're doing with Alexis, and pay them. That is how they groom their people at the public's expense. The other thing that I want to make, the other point I want to make, is that Nevis people can never ever forget Mikey Perkins when he said that he admit that there were cost overruns and quality underrun on a particular road here in Nevis. You can't forget that. Where a $10 million mistake was made. But you see, once it's public money, CCM don't care. The final point I'll make on that, he said they were doing boreholes. But if the government had asked me, I would have been able to tell them where to look at the airport for some cores. Because when we did the last set of work on the runway, you had to do cores. And why are they doing boreholes? They're not looking for water or oil, you know. They're looking for cores to see the thickness of the asphalt and the quality of the asphalt that is there. That's what they're looking for. So they bring in people, pay them a whole ton of money to do boreholes, to look for cores when you have cores at the airport in a particular place. They ain't pay me some, I tell them where to look.
Let me say this. It is very, 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 very exasperating dealing with this government. You have persons who retired plus year now can't get the gratuity because the government says they have no money, or they pay you in hawks and herrings. Civil servants who retired can't get the pension, can't get the gratuity because the government says they have no money. Vendors are complaining they can't get paid on time because the government says it has no money. But an election is looming and money need to be brought out of the treasury to fund your campaign.
To legalize it.
To legalize it.
It's like laundering money.
And so what they do? They make up this phony position. He's now project engineer. Project engineer. It's all a ruse to get money out of the treasury to finance the campaign in St. Paul's. Don't let this thing fool you. I mean, it is absurd. The engineers from the development company are here. They're doing all of the work. But yet you're going to bring in a has-been, been there, done that, project coordinator or project engineer, to do what? To duplicate what you already been paid to do? It makes no sense. This absurdity by this government. It is absurd. The same way they brought Perkins in to be the project engineer, the project manager down there for the Malcolm Gishad Park. Paying a bunch of money to duplicate what the Taiwanese were doing. Did anybody see a report?
Not yet.
Did anybody hear that Mikey Perkins made a difference on that project? It's all a mechanism to funnel money out of the people's treasury. To put money in the pockets of operatives. To bring in their flights from the Dominican Republic. I have pictures in my book where Perkins is escorting persons back to the airport, going back to Santo Domingo, round them up like chickens, brought them in, and they're now following them back out on chartered flights. Elections are coming. They need to get money out of the treasury. Why are you paying Zook $116,000 a year? You're going to turn around and pay Mikey Perkins the same $116,000 a year.
And Toya.
To campaign and make sure you have a legal mechanism to get money at the treasury. Why are we accepting this nonsense from this government? This is the height of robbery of our resources. What difference will Mikey Parkins make when you have engineers of superior talent already on the job, paid for by the consultants? I mean, this is an abuse of office by the premier. And to sneak that in and say, well, you know, I know he has no confidence in Zook. We all know that. But this is a way to build up their war chest of the people's money. When he talks about trying to get this matter sorted with the landowners since May, June, when they announced that the money has been released, they have access to the money. One beer landowner has been paid out. One. Out of a dozen plus. One.
Good evening, caller. Hi, good evening, caller.
Hey, good night, gentlemen. Good night. You know, I sometimes look and try to assess the whole thing, right? In that this government that we have, I don't think they're in there for really assist the people of the country in any way. I think they are in there for their own personal gain. And it is plain to see that. It is very, very, very plain to see that. When you look at the amount of the project that was given, couldn't handled by this government. A little simple fall farm thing would have to be laid aside when you, and I always talk about it because I know you know daily that you know how to deal with it, right? And you have a fall farm, they order this stuff and just put it there and put it in a aside, put it aside. That the taxpayers of the country have to be paying tax on that instead of making money from that and allowing people to get local food, local chicken to eat here in Nevis. That is packed up someplace, somewhere there. The geothermal can't handle it. From start, they oppose it. And I knew all along that geothermal ain't going to come under this present leadership because he blocked it. He tried his very best to block geothermal. And then you have a situation where there's the fisheries complex.
Free money.
I mean, the money was granted to us, given to Nevis people, given to Nevis. And after I make use of it. Make use of it. This, and at the same time, it is creating employment for the people. This is where we're supposed to be looking, not no big thing and all them kind of thing. It's a long time now, nothing really happening in Nevis. And it looks like it's a little bit ploy to make sure that when I bring this what do you call it? What do you call that in there? It's to make sure that Nevis will jump for it because they're hungry. So they keep us, as Henry will say, poor, barefooted and hungry. And another thing that I just want to really talk about is that the airport, because I always have a concern about the airport. And based on what I've heard about the airport, you're borrowing money to get money to run the airport, to do the work on the airport, right? I've never heard the people who are doing the airport, who want to get the airport done, come up with a figure and say, well, look, we estimated that a certain amount of flights will come in, we'll be able to make a certain amount of money. Give an estimate of the cost for running the airport and the cost of income, how much is we going to income. I've never heard anything like that.
Those figures are available, and I've spoken about them. The income from the airport is about $800,000 per year. The expenditure, 800,000 US, that's about $2.2 million dollars. and the expenditure is about 5.2 million EC dollars. So you have a deficit of about $3 million you're losing every year.
Right. But who gave that? Who gave that figure?
The consultants.
Oh, okay. But then again, how profitable would it be for the taxpayers of Nevis? How long would it take us to get money in the government treasury? How long it will take? That will run you up to maybe 15, 30 years.
Well,
because if you have to be paying out these money, it will take you a long time to see some light or some profit coming in the treasury. I mean, these are the kind of things that we have to look at. We can't just look and run at a project and say, oh, we're gonna do this, and it's not viable. These are the kind of things that we have, and like I said, this government ain't really helpful to the people of Nevis. They are more destructive to the people of Nevis than helping Nevis people. We know that. You can see that. They don't care anything. They don't care anything about healthcare. They don't care. Look at who is the when I look at, I don't have no problem. I don't have I'm not calling on the lady, but look at who he is there. He was there. He couldn't run the healthcare, and he gave it to a green person. What does that tell us in Nevis? People who support the government, who I know support the government, have to go over Sinkits to be dialyzed, and they say that Sinkits have plenty of dialysis units over there. Well, big one for Nevis now. So if the water is rough and they can't move, they can be dialyzed in Nevis. These are how you look about and look after your people who you want to go and vote for you to put you back in office. People in Nevis, we have to open our eyes. Like I said, this country that we have belongs to us and our future generation. We cannot let the politicians and them run us off our country.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. Again, we remind you, December 6th, that's when the Nivision Association of South Florida will be having their big event. It's a dinner, and we want you to go out and support. They always raise and support events in Nevis. My understanding is that they had a request for 50 food hampers, and they gladly sponsored those 50 food hampers. I suppose that those will be going out not for Thanksgiving. We don't celebrate that. We celebrate Christmas. And so I am hoping that social services will get in touch with NRP. I'm the chairman of NRP. Or you could call me and tell me come and collect 25 of the 50 food hampers so that we can make sure that the government don't give all on one side and forget the other side. So I just putting you on notice.
Let me say one more thing about the airport project, Carlisle. You have physical planning, all right, that has engineers on staff already being paid by the government to do exactly what Michael Perkins is being hired to do. These people have project management experience. Why are we duplicating?
It don't make sense. They did it before.
Yeah. I mean, these are the guardrails for government expenditure of government projects. If you are trying to make sure you don't get ripped off by the project, the engineers hired by the company to build the airport, if you want to make sure everything is done in accordance, who best to use on physical planning? Already on staff. So why are we? But we already know the answer already. But we as a population, we see these abuses. And we suck it up and say, oh, you guys just jealous about CCM and blah, blah, blah. We are trying to protect the people of Nevis from the ravages of this government, from the abuses of this government. Look how easily he snuck that into the conversation. Oh, by the way, Mikey Perkins will be coming on board as a project director, project engineer.
Yeah, but Mikey Perkins has been a consultant with the government from the moment he lost his position as speaker. He has been getting pay for the last 3 years at least, maybe before.
They didn't put him up there along with Zook and Latoya as an advisor. They snuck him in under Public Works as an advisor under Public Works. So he's been on the payroll ever since.
What?
I'm telling you that. He's been on the payroll since 2022.
Okay, gentlemen, Mikey Perkins has lived on the payroll, and his record is not a good one. Okay, let me turn my attention now to he appeared on the topics this week. So let us go to the topics where he was asked a couple of questions. One of them was about the steel frame building up there. Let's go to that.
Right. So that project was supposed to be a home for, I believe it was the Ministry of social development, social welfare. Those types of ministries were supposed to be housed there. What we've done, we're repurposing that steel frame. As you know, the Ministry of Agriculture, where it's currently situated, that building is in pretty bad shape. That's at Prospect. So we hope to repurpose that steel frame and use it there. That's another project that we intend to undertake in the new year. We're making some budgetary provisions for that project because we want to bring the Ministry of Agriculture and the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation, which has been paying rent for a long time. We want to bring them under sort of one roof, since it's one ministry. And so that is the intention, to do that project there and to therefore take the steel frame, not to waste it, but to take it and to use it in a repurposed way on that particular project. That land there that you just spoke about, it has been kept in that way because there is some, and it's like government functions just like any organization, even just like a marriage sometimes. Husband have one idea, wife has another idea, and you have to bring people around and have those discussions in order to determine what's the best approach. What we're doing up there is that there's been some suggestion that with an aging population, that there may be a need to expand the flamboyant home. So we're looking at all of that and saying, well, boy, let's keep our powder dry, so to speak. Let's keep the options open for that space that is currently there. But no firm decision has been taken in terms of the use of that space. But the steel frame structure will be repurposed for the Ministry of Agriculture. So the expansion of the flamboyant home, we have no plans currently to expand the flamboyant home. Matter of fact, it has been certainly my position as Premier of Nevis that we ought to encourage private sector investment in that type of senior care facility, and that the government, which had assumed the responsibility, remember that home, similar to the one that exists in Sinkits, the government one, was initially intended to be a place for indigent seniors, people who could not afford. But Nevis took the step forward to modernize and to provide senior care for individuals who also could afford. In fact, there's a fee attached to it. And people will get a sort of unit in the home that basically becomes their home in their senior years, and provide them with dignity and care during the winter of their years. The difficulty, however, is that because I think we lifted the standard, more and more people started to say, well, let me put my elderly and seniors into that. And so we started to have difficulties in terms of just being able to accommodate. Right now, I'm told there's an extensive waiting list for people to get in. So we have been talking to various persons to encourage private sector investment.
Listen, I deliberately put two clips together. One from the topics this week, and the other one, the latter part that you heard, is from July. In July, the Premier had absolutely no intention of doing any extension to the flamboyant home. They're not interested in that. But this week, when he was asked the question and he was caught off guard, one thing with the Premier, he lied bad. So he made up a story on the spur of the moment. We deliberately kept it that way because, like a husband and wife, you can't agree on something. The real problem is that that steel frame was apparently the idea for putting social services under one roof came from Hazel Brandy Williams. And I don't know, it seemed as if that the order was made for the steel frame, and then the current Premier said, no, I'm going to sit down in the wicket. Hazel, you're not getting any new modern building. So I am going to sit down in the wicket, and that will never be built. So all of a sudden now, they are repurposing repurposing the steel which was bought in 2017.
Let me tell you something. If you go back in the estimates for agriculture, you're going to see money being allocated for a new building for years now.
And not.
Place leaking. It's an old building. It's a prefab building. And they have a definite life. And that life has been expired a long time ago. And so money has been put into sequential budgets to build a new office block for agriculture. And they have not done a single thing, even with the full knowledge of that steel being up there on the ground, decaying day by day. So for him now to come and say, we're going to repurpose this steel into our agricultural building, yeah, who going to build it? With what money? We're going to find the resources? I mean, this guy I think he's losing his mind. And he's clever enough to say, we are thinking about it, or we are hopeful. Never definite. If you can't get a poultry processing plant built, using expertise from even Canada, then what hope there is to agriculture to get a new building, to repurpose that steel down there rotten on the ground? I mean, I wonder sometimes if this guy doesn't really listen to himself, or he thinks we're a bunch of imbeciles trying to figure him out. Because he's so ephemeral. He just moves, like a stinking fart in the wind. He just moves. You can't pin anything on him because he never definite says anything. It's always, we are hopeful, we are thinking about it. Never ever definite with him.
I'm here thinking that this administration would have gotten hundreds of millions of dollars, free money, taken out hundreds of $1,000,000 in loans, collected hundreds of millions of tax revenue. Some people are saying it's around $2 billion, a little bit over $2 billion. What is there to show for all this money? Why are we so broke? Why are we so bankrupt? Why we cannot get anything done in the island of Nevis when Mark Brantley has been handed money can't done? According to him, Joseph Parry in 7 years only got $18 million. He didn't go so far, 17 point something, like 218 out of Sinkets, $18 million. And he would have been able to transform Nevis with $18 million. Mark Brantley has gotten hundreds of millions and has absolutely nothing to show for it. And so, having wasted all of our resources, he's now saying to us, we'll have to sell ourselves to Destiny, to Janssen, in order for us to survive.
Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Mr. Powell. Good evening, Mr. Daly.
Lift your voice some for me, please.
Yes. I'm here listening, and I'm thinking, you're thinking of repurposing the steel to do an agriculture building. And Mr. Daly asks, with what money? And I'm going, well, what is one more unfinished project in this scheme of things?
You're right, brother. You're right. You're right.
Thank you very much. Good evening, caller.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good night. Them steel when the people don't start to take them, the thing them are rotten people that take them from make trailer and do all kind of thing with them. So how you can use them again?
Well, I'm not aware of them being taken up. I
They
didn't realize
tell
that.
you got a man build a whole big trailer.
It's true.
4 arms.
It's true.
You understand?
Wow.
So wherever lay he come with that damn big leg. So me not even fit them together. Then all kind of people don't take them up.
Thank you very much, but I wouldn't have thought about that because those heavy. Thank you very much, caller.
There's a way by.
Okay, let's listen this again, Premier Brantley.
Premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, is pushing back against suggestions of a conflict of interest in relation to the proposed Special Economic Zone project on the island. At his most recent press conference, the Premier was asked by SK Newsline about concerns raised over his wife's role as the realtor for private lands sales linked to the project. Brantley dismissed the claims, saying her involvement does not amount to a conflict of interest.
My wife was hired by this proposed investor. I think the name is South Nevis Limited. And my wife, I should point out, has been a licensed realtor for 20 years. So she was conducting her real estate business even before I got into politics. She was hired by these people. And why was she hired by them? Because, as I said, there were over 200 landowners in the area. And she was asked, could you find out who owns, and approach them and ask if they're willing to sell. And that is what she and a big team of people here, people overseas, have been working on. Finding Andrea Huey owns 10 acres. How do I get in touch with Mr. Huey? Call him. If, for example, in some cases people are deceased, who's in charge of the estate? Can you call them? And that is what the work that she has been doing. Some have said yea, like Dr. Janice Daniel Hodge. Some have said nay in relation to their land. That is their right. Now they've raised this thing and said, oh, your wife, because it's your premier's wife, there's a conflict. And I'm saying, but my wife is not engaged in any government activity. There's no government land that is selling that she is involved with. And certainly she has a right, like any realtor on the island, to ask people to buy or sell property. That's her job. That's what she does. And so I have asked the question, is it that we're now saying, Mr. Huey, that we want a new standard in the country where anybody associated with a public official cannot have any private business?
The opposition Nevis Reformation Party, the NRP, has been vocal in its criticisms of the project. NRP's Dr. Patricia Bartlett recently renewed those concerns during a radio appearance, arguing that the Premier's wife's role raises ethical questions.
They're happening a little too frequently for us, because that is not the first time an investor would have gone, they have too easy access to the Premier, and the realtor is always involved in some way, not necessarily as a realtor, because there's one point when she was involved as in the Fidelity Trust thing. I mean, if you remember that, some insurance-related matter. I don't know how to be, an insurance person, but these kind of things get all mixed up, and so they have the authority and they could probe. They have the investigative arm of them that they could engage, and so we can get to the bottom of this issue as to where the genesis of the thing is, whether it started on the left side of the pillow or it started on the right side of the pillow. But the point is that we have had a convergence of the activities of the realtor, the firm, and the Premier, and that is not a good look, because when we get to the code of conduct, at least being able to examine that, we would see that they have specific guidelines in teaching people and instructing public servants as to how you need to behave and navigate around these kind of issues that would put you in jeopardy as it relates to the offenses and stuff like that.
The debate comes in the wake of the Special Sustainability Zones Authorization Act 2025, which was passed in August. The law has faced heavy criticisms from the NRP, which has called for its repeal, saying it fails to protect the patrimony of Nevisians. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
And NRP is still calling for its repeal. Let me go to the phone line and take this call. When you call us, be a little patient. If we're playing clips, we're going to want to finish the clip. There is no pause on this clip.
Be quick.
Good evening, caller. Yes, go ahead.
Carly, let me show you something. That when Mark Bradley just talk about just now, dear, that's nepotism. He should have never involved his wife into that kind of business deal. She could be the first person in Nevis started real estate. He should have never get involved, because that was discussed in the dining room. That same project discussed between he and his wife in the dining room. That's nepotism. That's how we want to carry these little islands. These young boys feel they could just thief the country just so and rob people just so. Can I another thing I want to touch? And you must lament more about it. when the 50th anniversary for Culturamo, that vagabond boy Mark, for what he has done to 2020, he deserves to lose his seat. Take up how much it was, Carla? $3 million now? About $3 million, and he give all the registration them to do ad for the 50th anniversary, but 2020 can't get none. And maliciously get he entourage to spite Sister C, because Sister C always take part in Culturamo. That's the kind of lady she is. By Mark, you gotta go. You has lost your way and you have to go, because Jam not gonna see to it that you go. You're a bad fellow. All I want you to do in Janice, and you as the chairman in a daily, Carla and Daily, Tulu, do not let this go, because I got the support. We have them where we want them. There's bad people. Let me ask a question before you leave. The Perkins, so you all were talking about with the airport, is the guy who was the former speaker?
Yes.
Well, he dabbling in the kind of soup there too?
Long time.
Have a good day.
You have a good night.
Carla.
Okay, let me play one more clip for you, because we spoke about the Premier saying no conflict of interest. Let's go to this one from the topics.
The one of the questions they want to know is, the developers got any government land to buy?
Right.
Yeah?
So the answer to that is no. We have some government. We have some lands that are owned by NHLDC. That's close to the Saddle Hill area. And what we have said is we'll consider swapping those lands. There's one. Let me just add this, that we are undertaking some research in the area, because there's some lands in the area that the suggestion has been made to the government that they may be government lands, but they are currently what we call unregistered. So we have a surveyor who's doing that investigation for us. So once that investigation is over, we'll make a determination about those lands. But the lands that we currently own through NHLDC, we're thinking about swapping those, not selling them. The land that we did own,
swapping with the project, with the zone, you mean, and getting that somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay.
The lands that we did own, it was 238 acres. Those lands were swapped for debt already back in 2012. So we don't have those lands anymore.
So does the government must swap the land, or the government can you hold those land to expand for other things apart?
We can. It's government land. We can do whatever we want to do with that land. But I'm saying that that is what we are contemplating. That if we can get land in another area, and in fact more land, then because we wouldn't be swapping 1 to 1, we'd be swapping 1 to 1 point something. So I think what's proposed is 1 to 1.2 or 1.25, something like that. So if we can get more land in another area, it's a matter that we will consider. But currently, no, there's no government land that is been
I just want to ask one question. The Premier was at great pains to say that there was no conflict of interest because no government lands were involved. Now, since they say that they have some lands for NHLDC, plus some lands which are unregistered, untitled, and whatever you want to call it.
All right. Now, the difficulty with that comes with this.
Stick up in daily. This person has been trained for a long time. Good evening, caller.
Good night, Carlisle. This is Giselle.
How are
I
you
have
tonight?
A question.
Yeah.
So I've listened to a clip of Roger Ver saying they go around the world looking for governments who are broke to help them out financially. Is the Premier's wife the leader of a party or the government of Nevis for them to search her out and employ her to search for lands? It just doesn't fly with me, because that's a lie. It's obvious it's the Premier who was the contact person. Therefore, his wife got involved in the land part. That's my observation.
Very interesting. Thank you very much, Giselle. Very interesting observation. He not gonna fool me to tell me that they contacted his wife first.
No.
And he was not aware. He not gonna fool Maria's son.
No, I believe that they were all part and parcel of this. From the moment the contact was made to look at the Southeast as the home base for Destiny, it was a cabal of them. The Premier's wife would have been the real estate agent of choice. if they really wanted to prosecute this matter quicker, they could have gotten several real estate agents on Nevis and spread the work. But she was exclusively selected, not by accident. But let's get back to the conflict. And here's my theory about the conflict. There is a conflict. And here's the level of the conflict. She goes out, finds the land, sells the land, or gets the buyer to buy the land. But who has to approve in the beginning? Who has to approve the agreement? The Premier has to approve the agreement, the project agreement. All right. So, isn't it by the extension then, if you are doing something that will benefit my wife, and my wife then does something to benefit my husband, or isn't that a conflict? Because this project cannot proceed without the Premier.
Correct.
And this project can't proceed without her finding the land and getting the lands acquired. So her existence is dependent on him agreeing to sign the documents. And her paycheck is dependent on him saying yes, continue to get more lands. So I don't see how this cannot be a conflict of interest. But let us go a little deeper. Remember with the Fidelity Trust Insurance, when she was the office manager for this company that defrauded people, she was the office manager. He was his wife. He was the director of the company. She was the office manager for the company. There was no conflict according to him. With the iBank up there, Hamilton Reserve Bank, she was a director of the company when the license was applied for, and he was the one who approved the license for the iBank.
I got you.
But there's no conflict. Your wife is sitting on a board, and you are granting the license to that entity, and you're saying there's no conflict.
And he ought to have known who the directors were.
He did not disclose at the time when he said that he was advised by his technocrats that he should license this bank. He never disclosed his wife was the director of the bank. Never. It's only after we discovered it. He said, well, it's only temporary.
Good evening, caller.
Good night, Doctors Daly, Powell, and Weeks.
Daly is the true doctor. We're just tagging along.
All you guys are doctors of information.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so I honor you. Let me take my 30 seconds to say thank you, gentlemen, for opening the eyes of the public to all this stuff that is going on, that people still don't understand as much as you've tried. And I want to encourage you to keep trying. You're doing a good job. Halal, even as I try to flesh out this thing, as I hear and listen, I could only think of Guyana, the Guyana massacre. Right? Now, one rich man decided that he was going to provide his rich colleagues with an exotic piece of property, heaven and earth or whatever. We have a problem here. Right? The only difference in our situation is that Guyana massacre probably put Guyana on the map, but Destiny will take Nevis off the map. So I want Nevisians to think about that. Right? But in my opinion, this is a case where one rich man decided, I find some place where my rich colleagues could live. So come to Guyana, and Guyana is a massive, massive, massive piece of land, right? I don't even know how many square miles it is.
I think it's 83,000.
Just about.
But Nevis is merely 36. And another rich man decided that he gonna bring his rich colleagues to build a heaven here and make all the other Nevisians minority in their own home. This must not happen. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Jim Jones, that thing happened in 1978. I remember like it was yesterday. Let's go and make sure that our people are happy. Piper, somebody tell Piper that they need to text me and get in touch with me somehow. Good night, Mr. Piper.
Do you know what you're drinking? If you are drinking plastic bottled water, chances are you're consuming plastic contaminants, BPA, and other other hormone disrupting chemicals you cannot see with your naked eye. Those empty plastic bottles take up to 450 years to decompose. In the meantime, plastic bottles are polluting the environment. They are dangerous to the planet and our health. The safer solution is to acquire your own Kangen alkaline water filtration system, and you will never have to buy toxic bottled water again. Help save the planet and drink clean water for less than the price you'll pay for acid plastic bottled water over the next few years. The Kangen technology is the world's most popular, most acquired water immunizer. For more information, you can call or WhatsApp us on 917-207-1307. That's 917-207-1307. Change your water, change your life.
Pico, the way to go for residential, commercial, and industrial wiring, data, security, UPS, and generator installation. When you need electrical work done now, done right, done at an affordable price, contact Finney's Electrical Company. Call or WhatsApp 665-1916 or email pico_1166@yahoo.com. Pico, the way to go.
Tell me what you want, please. Tell me what you need, tell me if I'm good enough for you.
Thank you very much and welcome back to Tell Me. Just some mere 20 minutes left to go on the program this evening. So we dealt with the Premier and his conflict of interest and that kind of stuff. He also gave an update on the hospital. Apart from that update on the hospital, we have something on poultry processing for you. I think I'll go with the poultry processing first.
The elusive poultry processing facility.
July 10th, 2025.
And I know we have spoken about it for some time now, and I'm proud and I'm happy to indicate that in terms of the poultry processing facility, work on the ground will start as early as next week in the Prospect area.
July 13th, 2025.
The long-awaited and the much talked about broiler processing facility, we should see some work starting on the ground as early as this week.
August 30th, 2025.
The broiler industry, I have confessed I have not had on the broiler production facility an update in time for this press conference, but I do know that the last update I had, they were doing the ground clearing work, doing the excavation and that so that they can prepare for the building. I do know that the government has made the first tranche of payments to the contractors, and I do know that we are using a group out of Canada, and they have come and they are now using local contractors. They are physically on island to supervise those works. So I did promise that I would go and check for myself in terms of seeing the progress, but the last update I had officially was that they had done the excavation for the foundations. I don't know how much further they've had.
November 2nd, 2025.
So this, we understand that, as I said, is the poultry industry. The poultry is supposed to be here, and it's all about harvesting here. It's nothing. It's a big hole like an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Then, the Premier gave this update on November 18th, 2025.
Yeah, well, Banky, it's interesting you asked me that because I think it was just 2 weeks ago I asked. We have Ministers Evelyn and Brand who have been assisting each other and leading on that particular project. We secured the financing for it, and I really thought that that project would have been well out of the ground by now. What they indicated is that we're using a particular technology and some people out of Canada to build the unit. And it looks like there were two problems. One, apparently there was a delay in terms of the materials. And two, there was a delay in terms of some changes to the plans that had to be made. So they indicated that those matters were being finalized. And so we expect that things are being shipped. I think some containers have arrived. Some other containers, I was told, were on the way. That is with the materials. And then the expectation is that once we can finalize those matters, we would get going. It's disappointing because, and I did express my disappointment, but unfortunately, this is the nature of supply sometimes and supply chains around the world. So we have had those delays, which were really not of our making, but outside our control. The expectation, though, they're suggesting that once that starts, it should proceed quickly. to completion because of the nature of the technology that they're using for construction. So we're anticipating that we will have that facility up and running, and hopefully that will happen in the new year. And then once we have done that, we can then start to talk about having a poultry industry on the island, meaning that individuals interested in rearing birds can rear those birds, and then they'll be processed at that central processing facility, similar to the abattoir. The way that system is working, that is the anticipation.
Mr. Premier, how did you go from the Canadians supervising contractors on the ground in August to shipment delays and design changes in November? What exactly were the Canadians supervising in August? How did the so-called construction start without finalized designs? What will be the next excuse? Sadly, this poultry processing facility is shaping up to be another Alexandra Hospital wing.
Well said. Can't put it any better. But I thought when they said that they would take over this idea, I really thought they had some discussions with you, Dr. Daly, and that you were the consultant. They're paying consultants good money. If they had hired you, we would have been eating food, chicken from up there.
The funny thing is that, you know, the narrator is quite right. You know, you don't start making announcements until you have all your construction designs done. You know, they put the cart before the horse as usual. They're trying to make they were trying to score a political point because they were so far back that they needed to have something to say. And so they rush the brush and they get dabbed. And so they know how to back up and realize, listen, you know, we went a little too far, too fast. And so we know how to back up and make sure we have. How are you going to start construction and your technology not on the ground? Your this new technology you're going to be using, which is basically a foam-filled technology where you have two sets of foam on either side and then the concrete is poured. So rather than blocks, it be poured, a poured frame. So how can you be talking about starting construction? You don't even have doors on the ground. It doesn't make any sense. It was all a political show to try to get an easement of the pressure from them, and they still had to wait anyhow. All right, so it's par for the course. It is what we're accustomed to with this government. Always put the cart before the horse and then have to backtrack.
But that's not going anywhere.
You run a risk now that if you start this year and finish next year, you still have the hurdle, which is how then you jumpstart a system. You have no training. You have not done any testing of the equipment or anything. You're talking about another 6-7 months of delays. And that's why I'm telling people, all the prospective investors who want to do broilers, wait. Do not rush into this endeavor until you get the all clear that this thing is running to specs. Because that equipment has been sitting on you for 3 years. God knows what condition it is in. I don't know who is checking on it. I don't know who is making sure that all the steels are not being dried out and everything is, all the electricals, no rats are biting the cables. I mean, I don't know what condition that will be once it gets installed.
And not only that, if you already have the equipment for the poultry processing plant, and you now rush the plant to completion, even if you are on schedule, when you complete the plant, you still have to be sitting down waiting on birds to process unless they're going to get ground dove and chichi bird.
But that's what I'm leading to. But interestingly, the contractor, the main contractor at this company out of Canada, they were here on the ground several years ago looking business. They were hoping to expand into this new technology, and they went around to contractors, Lefco, Strani, government. And one of those big contractors is the one who turned them on to the government and said, listen, go talk to the government, they're all building homes, go talk to them. Mm-hmm. This is how this person gets in, you know. They didn't go looking for this guy. He came looking for them. He was looking business on navies from all the way in Canada because they want, of course, that's what they do. They go shopping around for business. I have no problem with that. But they were making it sound like they went ahead and found this company in Canada. The company found them. Mm-hmm. And they made a deal with the company because the company was promising half the price for the building as any contractor around here because, like they said, it was a new technology. It's a poured concrete, not blocks.
Good evening, caller.
Good evening, Carla.
Dr. Daly and Tulu, the Reverend Tulu. Carlisle, when Univision's going to come to realize, or to the realization that Mark is a liar, when are they really going to come to that? Or have they and they just not voicing it? They're just keeping quiet. Do you realize the common language that he uses in all of these projects? There's always uncertainty. He never gets an update. Dates are always pushed back. It's going to be the first thing that they're going to tackle in the new year. And it just keeps going. It's the same old recyclable trash that he gives Univisions all the time. Never can give an answer on geothermal, the hospital wing, no matter what the issue is, can never give specifics. And he's always unaware, as the leader of the country, who likes to have press conferences, always unaware of what is happening. Well, why is it Mark doesn't use the same strategy he's using for Destiny and the presentation that he's so ably presenting? Why? And by the way, he has his entire team whenever he's making these presentations. So why can't Mark use that same model when he's doing his press conferences at the end of the month, to have all the respective ministers available and present to speak about their specific ministry? Why can't he do that? I find it very rich and strange that Mark can go to a press conference year in, year out. He alone, the solo person. But when it comes to Destiny, he has the entire team. And he is more in tune with the Destiny project than he is in tune with what's going on in the different ministries with his ministers. I find it very rich that Destiny did not vote for Mark to be in power. The people of Nevis voted for Mark. But yet still, Mark cannot give account to the people of Nevis for the various projects. There's always uncertainty, and it's just a lot of word salad every time he has a press conference. Carlisle, can you suggest to Mark, please, to cease his press conferences for the rest of his time in office, and we hope that it won't be much longer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. I think that's going to be our last call for the night, because it's already showing 9 minutes to 10 o'clock, and we leave at 10. A couple of things that I want to put on the record before we leave. That meeting seemed like a secret meeting that was held up at Palm Gardens on Sunday. I understand that they invited a number of persons, and eventually either 11 or 12 showed up. It seems to me as if the Premier put that in the hands of his Assistant Permanent Secretary in Communications, Michael Hobart. I am hearing that ministers of government had no clue that something like that was happening. I'm hearing that senior permanent secretaries had no idea that that event was happening, and that they just were not told. Everybody knows that Michael wants to replace Branning Town for whatever reason. But it seemed to me as if the Premier gave him the mandate. You go and keep that meeting. Invite these people, and not a lot of people responded to the invitation. So it didn't go very well for them.
I think there was another one today. Same place.
With who this time?
Same, more business people. So,
if at first you don't succeed,
try
again. try again. Let me give you 2 quick updates on geothermal.
The sustainability zone legislation was designed in such a way that any business that is setting up, any investor that is coming in, has to provide their own energy, they have to provide their own water, they have to provide their own waste management, and that energy, 70% of it has to be renewable. Already these investors are saying, hey, we want to take some of that geothermal energy and pay you for it so that we can run our homes and businesses in the southern part of Nevis.
Just a quick question here. If they have to provide their own energy and their own water, and they say, hey, listen, Tulu boy, you have, so I'll come into you for some. Is that providing their own energy and their own water?
No.
Okay, let's go to the next geothermal update.
We are committed to the geothermal project. Incidentally, I can advise that we have now selected a driller for the production wells. I cannot yet disclose who that driller is because there's still some processes that need to be completed, but I can tell you that that bid process and selection process is now at an end. We anticipate, therefore, that that drilling for geothermal will start in the new year. When that starts, we hope to simultaneously go to the market to try to get the financing for the plant construction and the upgrades that will be required to our grid. If all goes as planned, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Nivisians and Kitchens, we will get to a point where this island is the greenest place on planet Earth. We'll get to a point where we can transform this economy from what it now is, heavily dependent on tourism, heavily dependent on financial services, heavily dependent on citizenship by investment, into an economy that is energy driven. No different to Saudi Arabia or Norway, save that our energy will be renewable energy, and therefore, unlike fossil fuel energy, will do no harm to the environment.
Boy, not even Mark sound interested in what he's saying. He sounds so disinterested. And as Hensley Daniel said so very well years ago, nobody in the world can talk such foolishness in standard English and make it sound like Mark Brantley. Is one set of crap he does be talking. This is the same man who said years ago when he was looking to get into government, we are going to flick the switch for geothermal. He told us this in 2012 for the election that was held in January of 2013. And you're talking about 13 years later, and he's still waxing warm about geothermal and how we are going to do such marvelous things. I really want to tell him he talking shit, but I ain't going to say that on radio. Tulu, let's do our closing.
I sat here pained to listen to the voice of the Premier. I am absolutely disgusted. I guess for information or to enlighten others that we have to play his voice. But I take no pleasure in listening to a fool. I take no pleasure in listening to somebody who, as Weber would have said, that the worst state of a man is when he don't know and he does not know that he don't know. And the Premier perhaps do not know that he do not know how to run government. I think that he knows definitely that he is a pathological liar and that dishonesty have served him well, and so therefore he continue to use dishonesty on the people of Nevis and the Federation. It is so ironic to hear him speak about geothermal like he is in charge of the geothermal. It's only today I was listening to a clip with Conris Maynard saying that they have agreed, the Nevis Island administration has agreed to put legislation in place to nationalize geothermal. So geothermal is no longer under the control of the Nevis Island administration, but it is a national asset, and so it is under the ambit of the federal government with Congress as the minister. And so when we hear the people hear the Premier speaking so eloquently about geothermal and the development of geothermal on the island of Nevis, he has no authority to do that. He has given up that authority. The last thing I'm going to say is that he was sworn into office, not voted into office because we know he wasn't voted in the last election. But he was sworn into office and he took an oath that he is going to look after the best interests of the people of Nevis. And rather than looking after the best interests of the people of Nevis, Premier Brantley has decided to sell the people of Nevis our patrimony through Janssen and his Destiny project. This Destiny project, something that the Prime Minister is running from, something that the advisor to the Prime Minister is running from, something that ministers close to the Prime Minister is running from. But the Premier is hell-bent on selling this on the people of Nevis. Something that he knows was not good for the people of Nevis, because if he knew it was good, he would have run with it and he would not have had to be asked about it to the point where he had to deny it. And so he knew something was wrong. He knew that the people of Nevis has not accepted Destiny, and so he took our students out of school to try to get them to buy into his Destiny. He took our teachers out of school to get them to buy into his Destiny. He has been running all over the place trying to sell Destiny because he understands that the people of Nevis do not want Destiny because Destiny is not good for Nevis. What he understands is that his family stands to benefit richly and handsomely from Destiny. And so I am convinced that his motivation behind Destiny has nothing to do with people of Nevis, has nothing to do with having worked for the people of Nevis, because as the PRO, as far as I'm concerned, of Destiny, he cannot tell us what kind of job is going to be in Destiny. One thing I've learned from the people who own Destiny and from Janssen himself. Janssen said that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis should not be afraid and should not buy into this notion that is put out there that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis would not be able to go into Destiny, that will be shut out. And he said that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis will be allowed to visit, and we must take that to heart. Janssen didn't say we'll be able to come in and do business. Janssen never told us that his zone is going to be a business hub. But what he says to us, that we will be able to come in and to visit the zone. Janssen Partners said to us that we must look at the zone as a private homeowners association. And so while Janssen and Ver and the others are saying one thing, and they have told us clearly what this zone is going to be about, our Premier comes day after day trying to lie to us and tell us that business is going to be inside here, that things are going to be so cheap that we're going to you'll be able to buy things out of the zone cheaper than going to St. Martin, or even cheaper than from TDC and Hasfords. Bull crap, lies, nonsense. People understand that the creators, the people who want to have this zone, say that it's going to be the first libertarian country anywhere in the world.
2 minutes after 10, Tulu.
And so they're looking for a country. They have bought a country. They have bought our Premier. And our Premier is now trying to sell us into slavery to his client. People, do not buy into that. The Premier has deceived us. He is deceiving us, and he will continue to deceive us. Good night.
Thank you very much, Dr. Daly.
I was gonna reach in my pocket for some collection to give to Tool, you know.
That's an insult.
Why did I insult?
I just had to tell him the time because I like to stop my clock at 10.
You see, I mean, this is why preachers in black churches, it always take 3 days to finish a sermon, you know.
Too long.
I shouldn't talk because I think I'm 10 times as worse than you, right?
No, you're 20 times better than I am. Not worse, better than I am.
It is interesting conversation because in regards to the geothermal, the Premier would have clearly said at the town hall that they intend to partner with the Destiny people to develop geothermal. So he's changed a bit in his positioning since then. But like I said, he's always ephemeral. He's always, moving around. He's never in the same place twice. But more to the point, when he was referring to the lands that were discovered through the cadastral survey out there in the southeast, and he was asked about the possibility of lands being located in the zone, why not use housing and lands to purchase some of those lands and have it for farming, have it for housing, and have it for other things. And I think the question was directed at Minister Evelyn at the last town hall by Jean Liebert.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer that came back was, listen, the government has no money to purchase any land.
And asked Jean if he could help them.
Yeah. All right. So you have a situation here, gentlemen, where lands have now been discovered, quite a bit. Over 200 acres have been discovered, untitled, unregistered lands, which have now been transferred under the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation. And you heard the Premier clearly say they intend to use those lands to exchange with lands already purchased by, or to be purchased by Johnson outside of the zone at a rate of 1.2, 1.25. So they're down to the minutia. They already know what the transfer rates are. So when he says that they're thinking about it, tell yourself it's a done deal.
Mm-hmm.
There's no thinking. When you start getting to 1.25 or 1.2, you have made a deal. The question is, where are those lands located? Are they all contiguous or are they scattered? Because we haven't heard of any huge purchases of that quantum, 200 plus acres, anywhere outside of the zone. We've heard 50 acres here, 60 acres there and all that, but we have yet to hear of any large, significant purchases that could equate to 1.2 rate of transfer. We know 220 acres have been discovered so far by this cadastral mapping. So you'll mean that you'll have to find 200 acres plus another 40 acres, 240 acres if you're going to exchange your rate.
By the way, them is 1.5 we heard.
That's for all, you and me.
Mm-hmm.
But, he's saying for this particular piece of land. So I want to ask a question. If you are answering one time that you have no money to purchase lands for housing, for agriculture, whatever, but by luck, you
came upon some land.
Then why not hold it in trust for the people of Nevis to be a part of that development? It tells you the direction which Brantley is leaning, and he's leaning to the fact that he already agreed with the developers. I'm going to give the land. This is the exchange rate. Do with it as you feel. I intend to sign the development agreement with you. You own me. I can't move without you. I need you for the hospital. I need you for the port. I need you for this. I need you for that. And therefore, do your best. I am convinced beyond convincing that come New Year, if that late, Mark Brandt will bring before the House, before the Parliament, a signed development agreement with Johnson. I'm convinced of that. Every single indicator is pointing in that direction. A house don't have to fall on you to know that you need to move out the way. Chamber has come out, full-throated rebuke of the agreement of destiny. The Christian Council, the NHCS, The town hall meeting.
Bar Association.
The bar really hasn't said much, definitively. But, you know, the whole of a society approach have said, no, we do not want this. The failed meeting with the teachers, yada, yada, yada. But yet he's plowing ahead as if his life depends on it, and it does. And that is exactly why he's plowing ahead, because his life depends on it. His political life, that is. Without it, he cannot survive. Without it, he has nothing to come to the people with, because he has no money. If you, as a premier and leader of a country in 2025, cannot stand on your own to go to a bank and say, I need to borrow $20 million, you ain't worth nothing. If you have to get the federal government's signature to say, I guarantee that loan for the government of Nevis, then where are you in the scheme of things? You're really not worth anything. So here comes Johnson and the SSD and the Destiny, and it's a godsend for him. It's raining money. That's what they're promising him. It's going to be raining money, and therefore you can execute all these wonderful projects you want to get done. We will be there for you, Mr. Premier. Just give us that agreement. Give us control of Nevis. Give us control of Nevis, and the rest is yours. And like a horse Negro, our Premier has decided to give away Nevis to save himself. I hope people understand what we are talking about. Because in my lifetime, I never imagined in my lifetime that I will become a minority in my own country. I want that to really sink into people's minds. That in your lifetime, you'll be less than. That somebody else will be directing you, not you directing them. Good night.
Thank you very much. I want to say congratulations to the NRP for a very good rally last Friday night in Brownhill. Some excellent speeches. We're going to find a way to play back those to you. And also, Dr. Patricia Bartlett appeared with Callistra Faria, and she did not ask for the interview to be terminated. She did not say that she felt that the interviewer was combative. She was there for the entire period and had an interesting interview. We are going to find a way to play that back for you on 2020 radio. I want to say to all of those 25 most remarkable teens who are being honored this evening, congratulations. I understand that Minister Mark Brantley is not there, that Eric Evelyn not there, and we just want to congratulate you nonetheless, and hope that you bask in the glow of being recognized as one of the 25 most remarkable teens. Now, my understanding is that on the 6th of December, there is going to be some kind of tourism awards in Anguilla, and Mark Brantley, our premier here in Nevis, accepted an invitation to be the featured speaker. Now, I'm embarrassed for the Ministry of Tourism and the Premier of Anguilla. Embarrassed because I don't know how they could look at an island like ours where tourism is failing under the Premier and think that it is a good idea to invite him to be the featured speaker. But be that as it may, Mr. Premier, when you go to Anguilla, I want you to look at the airport that they are building down there. In their budget this year, they have $87 million for the airport extension. For this year, next year, $87 million. And I have not heard them say that they're going to any private individual to beg or to borrow any money from that private individual. Let somebody take you down to the seaport terminal as well. And I want somebody to give you a copy of the budget in Anguilla so that you could see that they are just short of $600 million. Many years ago, Nevis and Anguilla, Nevis used to be in front of Anguilla. And then they pulled up alongside us. And they have gone so far past us that they can't see us in the rearview mirror. And A lot of that has happened under the leadership of CCM. A lot of that has happened under the leadership of Mark Brantley. It is a failed administration where they have a number of incomplete projects. I want you to look at the hospital in Anguilla, look at the clinic in Anguilla right there in the heart of town. And I want you then to look at yourself in a mirror and wonder how you can spend 25 million on a hospital extension and it ain't done. And you said that you're going to have to look at friendly governments to get equipment. And listen to him on the show this week on the topics, saying that, you know, we're going to be looking at equipment which is good, but which might be a little dated. Because, you know, if you have an iPhone 13 and the 17 comes out, the 13 is still good. So you don't have to kill yourself and look to spend the extra money on the 17. Mr. Premier, you're like an old pair of shoes where the sole don't wear out and is not leather, so you can't have it repaired. It's just time for you to go in the dustbin. Hey, we're going to see you next week. Until then, be good.
Watch out, let me learn something. Nevis will Brooks long before the Premier ever Brooks. You crazy? Premier will never be Brooks.
No way.
I ain't trying to say that. I'm just looking at the reality.
And it's true. The Premier and his wife coming out of this thing with golden handshakes. I know people in Nevis who are telling themselves they would love the day when they can say they have $250,000 in the bank. Well, the Premier and his wife from this deal could be looking at $250 million in the bank. So all you stop there. Feel sorry for him. And he's coming out of this with a golden handshake. See you next week.
One thing, we want we land. We want we say. Everybody to that we going.